bringing you in. Well, what happened to Donald Trump's priorities? Geopolitically, wasn't China supposed to be the arch rival here for the Americans? Why this leniency towards China? And in terms of a strategic alliance, wasn't India supposed to be the next best thing that the Americans relied upon? What happened to all of that? It seems that this system or this notion that we've been living for and living with for the last few years has been turned on its head.
Good evening, Vineet. Good evening to my fellow panelists and NewsX viewers. Unfortunately, I think there is a technical snag in your at your back end because we are barely able to hear you, although we could just hear the gist of what you're saying. But we appreciate the topic. We know what we're going to speak on, and I'm sure even if I would pardon if something specific is being missed out. But I think it's a self-destructive move, as my co-panelist said. He's going to harm himself more than India, more than the rest of the world, and self-destructive in two ways. One, of course, he's harming his own reputation around the world. Second, he's damaging the economy of America as well. The economic numbers in America, unfortunately, are not looking very good at this point of time. People are losing jobs. There are new jobs being created there. Small businesses are closing down. New investments, unless of course those investments are being forced to be made. For example, the one that Tim Cook promised for $100 billion, and he very nicely announced, gave him a golden kind of a memento as well. He's going to do another $500 billion, but that's not the way, because why Tim Cook is doing it because there are some exemptions when you make that investment in America. He still did because the imports, which Apple, for example, does, they're going to be exempt from the tariffs. So that's the reason he's not doing, because he's overly enthusiastic to set up factories in America. The cost of manufacturing an iPhone in America is going to be $3,000 plus. And I think that is what Tim Cook must be having on his mind. When I saw those pictures closely, you can see the expression of Tim Cook as to how he's appreciating the award being given to him, how he's being forced into making investment. Poor thing, they don't have a choice now. But I think also what President Trump is doing, he's making the adversaries unite. We have the Indian Prime Minister traveling for the SEO summit after 7 years. Maybe that wouldn't have happened if the things were in a different shape. He's traveling. India, Russia, China coming together is not very good news for America, for that matter, both from a geopolitical perspective and from a trade or economic perspective. So he's knowingly or unknowingly bringing the people together who would probably not have gotten together otherwise in a normal situation. As far as India is concerned, I think we already, the government of India, people of India, the exporters, they're already considering, we've been talking of China plus one policy. Now I think it's time to speak about America plus one policy. By the way, I just saw on your screen that the news that India is pausing the buying of arms from America is fake. I think the
that
Ministry
is
of
fake.
Defense
In fact, that is the news that I also wanted to address, that Reuters claimed that India is pausing these purchases.
Yeah.
It is not true. These reports are absolutely fake at this point in time. Of course, a lot is being said and done, Dr. Kohli, about this friction between America and the and us. Go on, Dr. Kohli.
Yeah, you see how the world media also takes advantage of such situation. Some agency or somebody might take advantage of the situation and start making announcements which do not have any substance for that matter. Well, India still doesn't want to, sour its relations with America. America should keep that in mind. We are natural allies. One is the oldest democracy. One is the biggest democracy. I'm flabbergasted by President Trump's attitude and what he's been doing around the world. 60 countries being issued letters. I'm wondering what's going to happen to American inflation in the next few weeks. It's going to go bonkers, as they say, in slang, that the inflation is going to go through the roof because all these goods landing in America, where either America starts manufacturing them overnight, which is not going to happen, else these goods are going to land up in America very, very expensive. What is the American people going to do? I rather like to know from Andrew and my other American respected panelists as to what are Americans going to do when you go and buy these goods out of the shelf, all kinds of goods, whether it's pharmaceuticals, of course, some of them may be exempt, but leather, footwear, textiles, chemicals. There's so many things. There's a long list of goods which are being imported from across the world. Of course, India itself has a very long list. I think it is time, if things don't get better, it would be probably high time where India should start retaliating by imposing reciprocatory tariffs. Because when China threatened America at that time of 245% tariff, those crazy tariff numbers being revealed a few weeks ago. Well, China straight away said we are going to levy reciprocatory tariffs for that matter. So I think it's high time that India might be considering that if things don't get better, we will probably have to get into action. Although that will be the last resort, I feel. India would try its level best to see that things get resolved. And my concern, Vineet, is the 25th August talks, which was scheduled to be held between the two countries. Those talks being called off. From the press conference that I heard President Trump speaking in, he said he doesn't want to talk about trade deal or the bilateral talks until the issue is resolved. So what issue can be resolved here? We cannot allow agriculture. We cannot allow dairy to have a free run here anyway. So I don't know what issues he wants. So we cannot stop buying oil from Russia because President Trump says. So I don't think there is any resolution to the issue which he's expecting. So it's very, very concerning. I hope some sense prevails on the POTUS sooner than later, Vineet.